4 years ago, I retired here to Chiang Rai, up in the far north of Thailand, on nothing but my Social Security check, a little over $1,600 a month, and the morning that deposit first landed in my Thai account, it handed me a surprise I never saw coming. But before I get into all of it, do me one quick favor. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like. It genuinely helps us over here, and it keeps us in touch. And if you've been doing your own arithmetic on whether your check could carry you out here, stay with me. This is exactly the number you're wondering about. Now, let me tell you what I expected, because it wasn't this. When I packed up my life in the States, I had a picture in my head, and it was a small one. A cramped little rented room, one window. A fan, maybe, if I was lucky. I saw myself counting every single bot at the market, putting things back on the shelf, skipping the extras, telling myself I could scrape by if I was just careful enough. Plain survival. That was the deal I thought I was signing up for. That's the picture I carried out of America. Make do, get by, don't get greedy. Because back home, that same check felt like a leash. Same $1,600 every month. And it never went anywhere. It just held me in place. Long gray winters where the sky sits low for months and you barely leave the house. A heating bill that climbed all winter. And a cable bill, I'd open that thing at the kitchen table and actually wince. The money came in and it walked right back out the door before I'd even had my coffee. So I moved here, bracing for less. Fewer comforts, a tighter belt, a quieter life. I figured I was trading a comfortable but cold America for a warm but broke Thailand. That was the trade in my mind. Is it really enough to live on out here? I braced myself for no. I truly did. Turns out the answer surprised even me. Because that first month, sitting on my little balcony with a cup of coffee and the morning already warm, I opened up my bank balance on my phone, just checking the way you do. And I looked at that number for a long second, because I hadn't spent even half of it. Half of that check was still just sitting there. Now hold on to that feeling, because I'm going to lay the whole thing out for you in a minute. Here's the thing nobody tells you before you make a move like this. It isn't the visa that trips people up. It isn't the rent, or the flight, or the big scary stuff you lie awake worrying about. It's the 100 little things you only learn the hard way. Which market has the honest prices? How the power bill actually works in the hot months? What a doctor's visit really costs? Which paperwork you need and when? All the small stuff that no glossy website ever bothers to mention. That's exactly why I sat down and put 4 years of it into one place, a guide I call One-Way Guide. It's the honest, no-nonsense version with the real numbers I actually pay, the little tricks I learned by tripping over them, and the paperwork help for us retirees that I wish somebody had handed me on day one. If you're serious about doing this on your own check, it's the head start I never had. The link's down in the description if you want to look. But let me get back to that morning and that balance sitting there half full. Because that was the surprise. Not a small one. I came here fully expecting to be poor. I mean that honestly, I planned to be poor. I told my family back home I'd be living simple, watching every dollar, scraping the bottom by the last week of the month. And instead, I'm putting money back. Every single month. From the very same check that felt tight enough to choke me back in the States, I now finish the month with hundreds of dollars still sitting in the account. The check that was a leash back home turned into breathing room out here. I'll be straight with you, the first time it happened, I thought I'd made a mistake in my head. I checked the numbers twice. I thought, surely I forgot to pay something. A bill was going to come due and swallow the rest of it. So I waited, and the bill never came. The month just ended, warm and easy, with money left over. Now, I know how that sounds. I know exactly what you're thinking, because I'd think it too. Same money, and suddenly it stretches twice as far? Come on! There's got to be a catch. Or he's cutting corners. Or he's living in some shack eating rice and calling it paradise. So let me show you. Not with pretty words, with the actual figures. Take just one line to start. My internet. Fast fiber, the real deal, streams anything I want. Runs me less than half my old cable bill. And that's one of the more expensive things I pay for. That's the kind of small shock that adds up, line after line, until you're sitting on your balcony wondering where all your money went in a good way. And that's really the whole story I want to hand you today. How a fixed check that felt like nothing at all back home turned into a warm, full life out here with cash to spare. Not a metaphor, not a feeling. Real numbers, the ones off my own bank statement. So let me open this check up, line by line, the way a man reads his own bank statement, and it starts with the one number everybody back home swears can't be real. What a real one-bedroom apartment near the Cock River actually costs me every month. That one bedroom near the Cock River, a real one, balcony, a fan breeze coming off the water runs me 7,000 baht a month. That's about $200. Back in the States, that wouldn't cover a single week. And that's just the first line. Sit with that a second. $200, and I've got my own bedroom, my own kitchen, and a balcony where I drink my coffee while the light comes up over the river. $200 back home got me a cramped studio near a highway, if I was lucky, with a landlord who raised it every year. Here, my landlord shook my hand and hasn't touched the number in 4 years. Same money, completely different life. Next line down, electricity. Now, I run the air conditioning in the hot months April up here in Chiang Rai. We'll cook you if you let it. And even so, my power bill comes in around 900 baht. That's $26. $26 to stay cool through the worst of the heat. And the water, well, that one always makes me smile when I open it. Water's another 150 baht, barely $4. I've spent more than that on a single sandwich at an airport back home. Then there's the internet. I've got fast fiber running straight into the apartment video calls with my grandkids, movies at night, no buffering, none of that. 500 baht, roughly $15. And here's the part that still gets me. That's less than half of what I used to hand the cable company every month back in the States, and half the time, that connection would drop right in the middle of the game. $15, and it just works. So far, we're a little over $240 for a roof, cool air, running water, and a connection to the whole world. Keep that running in your head, because this is where it starts getting almost funny. Food. This is the one that broke my brain when I first got here. If your grocery bill back home makes you flinch, wait till you hear what a whole month of eating like a king cost me here. That first week, my neighbor Somchai took me under his wing. Retired school teacher, gray mustache, waves at me from his motorbike every single morning like we've been friends for 30 years. One day he says, "Come on, teacher, I show you where to eat." And he walked me down to the market before 7 in the morning. I wish you could have smelled it. Charcoal smoke curling up off the little grills, mangoes stacked in pyramids, gold and green, the vendors already calling out, baskets of greens still wet from the morning, and Somchai sits me down at a little stall and orders me a bowl of noodles, a 10 baht bowl of noodles, steaming in that cool morning air. 10 baht, that's about 30 cents. And I'm telling you, it was better than anything I paid $12 for back home. There's a woman at that market named Nak, runs the fruit stall with the blue awning right on the corner. From about my second visit, she started slipping an extra banana into my bag, waving off my coin, saying, "For you, teacher." 4 years now, and she still does it. That's the kind of thing your Social Security check can't measure, but it's the reason I smile every morning. So, what does all that add up to? I eat like a king fresh fish, fruit that actually tastes like fruit, a curry that would run you $20 in any American restaurant for around 9,000 baht a month. That's under $300 for a whole month. I used to spend close to that on groceries in 2 weeks, and half of it went in the trash, living like a king for pennies. I don't say that to be cute. I say it because that's exactly what the receipt shows. Now, transport. This one's easy, because I did something I couldn't have done back home. I got rid of the car. No insurance, no payments, no oil changes, no gas gauge staring at me. When I need to get across town, one of those red Songthu's little pickup trucks with benches in the back comes rattling up my street, and I hop on for 20 baht. 60 cents to ride wherever I'm going. And for the short trips, I've got a little scooter, and filling that thing up costs me next to nothing. A tank lasts me a week and barely dents the budget. Now, I can read all this off to you clean, line by line, no fumbling, and there's a reason for that. It's not because I've got a great memory. It's because from the very first month I got here, I wrote every single one of these numbers down. Every bill, every market run, every bot. 4 years of it. That's where the guesswork ended for me, the second I could see it all on paper. And that's exactly why I took those 4 years of notes and turned them into one-way guide. The honest guide with the real numbers, the actual costs, and the retiree paperwork help laid out plain. It's the head start I wish somebody had handed me before I got on that plane. If you want it, the link's down in the description. No pressure. It's just there if you'd rather not learn all this the slow way like I did. Alright. So we've got rent, power, water, internet, food, and getting around, and every single line has come in low and warm, hasn't it? But I know what you're doing right now. You're waiting for the shoe to drop. There's always one line that wrecks the math, and you already know which one you're bracing for. Now here's the one you're really waiting on. The piece folks worry about most: what happens when you actually need a doctor. This is the number that keeps people up at night back home, the one that makes them scared to even dream about this. A fixed income and a body that's getting older. What's a doctor's visit going to cost you out here on the other side of the world? So I walked into the local hospital here in Chiang Rai, bracing for the bill that everybody warned you will wreck a retirement. A doctor who trained in Bangkok, no wait at all. And when they handed me what my checkup actually cost, I had to read the number twice. So I read it twice, and it still said the same thing. The checkup cost me 1,200 baht, $35. No, wait, a doctor who trained in Bangkok, and I walked out having paid less than I'd drop on a nice dinner back home. That was the last line I was scared of, the big one, the one everybody warned you about before you move. And it came in low, just like all the rest. Let that settle for a second, because I sure had to. Healthcare was the wall I braced for. Instead, it was a receipt in my hand and change in my pocket, and a nurse who smiled and told me to come back anytime. $35. I've paid more than that just to park at a hospital in the States. And here's the part I really want you to hear, because it's the difference between surviving and actually living. There's still room for a little pleasure. Every Sunday I treat myself to a massage down the street, an hour under a slow ceiling fan, the smell of lemongrass in the air. A Sunday massage for 300 baht, that's about $9. $9 once a week, and I walk home loose as a cat. That's not scraping by, that's a man enjoying his retirement. So let's do what I promised at the start. Let me open the whole thing up plain, the way I read my own bank statement at the kitchen table. Rent on my one bedroom near the Kok River, the one with the balcony and the fan breeze, $200. Electricity with the AC running in the hot months, $26. Water, about $4. Fast fiber internet, $15, less than half of what my old cable bill used to bleed out of me every month. Food, eating like a king at that market before 7 under 300, getting around on the scooter and the odd song through, next to nothing. Call it $20 a month with gas. Healthcare, $35 for that checkup. And the Sunday massage, $9. Add it up. Go ahead, do the math with me right now, add those lines up in your head, and tell me that check couldn't do the same for you. Rent, power, water, internet, food, the scooter, the doctor, and my one little indulgence. It all lands well under $1,000. A full life, a warm one, every single thing I need, and a few things I just plain want, and I'm not even at the $1,000 mark. Now hold that against my check. A little over $1,600 a month, straight from Social Security. Same as yours probably lands. Well, under $1,000 goes out, which leaves hundreds of dollars left over every month. Not once, not on a good month. Every month. Same deposit that used to feel so tight back home, and here it just sits there with room to spare. And that right there is the surprise I told you about way back at the beginning. The thing I never saw coming when I flew over here 4 years ago. Remember the morning that deposit landed in my Thai account, and I said it handed me something I didn't expect? This is it. I checked my balance that first month, braced to see it half gone already, the way I was trained to expect back in the States. And half of it was still sitting there. just sitting there, staring back at me. I honestly thought I'd made a mistake in my own arithmetic. I hadn't. The money wasn't disappearing. It was piling up. That's the twist nobody warned me about. I came to Chiang Rai bracing to be poor. I pictured a small rented room and counting every baht and telling myself no to everything, making do. And instead I'm putting money back, from the exact same check that felt like a leash around my neck back home. Because that's what it was, you know. A leash. Same numbers on the deposit slip, but in America that money kept me on a short rope. Long gray winters. A cable bill that made me wince. Groceries creeping up every time I turned around. The check came in and it was gone before the month was half done, and I'd tell myself that's just how retirement goes. That's just the price of getting old. I believed it. Most of us do. Out here, the same money does the opposite. It doesn't vanish. It grows. I'm living like a king for pennies, and I mean that plainly, not as some slogan. A king. Fresh mango handed to me at the fruit stall. A doctor who trained in Bangkok for the price of a pizza, an hour-long massage for $9, my own balcony with a breeze off the river. And still, at the end of the month, more in the account than there was at the start. I think about the fella I was that first week, following my neighbor Somchai down to the market at dawn, nervous, counting in my head, wondering if I'd made a terrible mistake moving to the far north of Thailand on nothing but a government check. If I could sit that man down now and show him his own bank statement 4 years later, he wouldn't believe it. He'd read it twice, same as I read that hospital bill. And then he'd smile. So here's your own arithmetic. From my porch. Whatever your check is, 1600, 14, 18, whatever number lands in your account on the first of the month, picture it covering all of that and still growing. Picture the rent gone and barely a dent. Picture the doctor paid and change in your hand. Picture a little left over, month after month, quietly building, instead of slipping through your fingers the way it does now. That's not a dream I'm selling you. That's my Tuesday. That's the bank statement sitting on my table right now, with the sun going down, gold over the river, and a warm breeze coming up the hill. It's doable. I'm proof of it, 4 years running. It's warm, warmer than any winter you've sat through back home. And I don't just mean the weather. It's the woman at the fruit stall calling you teacher, the neighbor waving from his motorbike, the whole easy rhythm of a life that finally fits inside your means. And it's a whole lot closer than you think. Not someday, not if you win the lottery, not some fantasy for richer folks. It's the same check you already have, doing something it was never able to do where you're standing right now. So run your numbers. Sit down tonight with your own deposit slip and do the math I just did. I've got a feeling you'll have to read it twice too. And then, like me, you'll smile.